Somewhere along the way, we got told to heal first, then we can live. And what if that order's actually backwards? And what if that's the actual reason you're still stuck? How long has "I'm still working on myself" been your answer? A year, 3 years, 5? I'm not asking to shame you, I'm just asking because I want you to actually count it out. Because while you've been waiting to feel ready, well, life hasn't been waiting with you. It's kept moving along, hasn't it? And I really want you to sit with that just for a quick second before we go any further. By the end of this video, you're going to actually understand why that order, heal first, then live, is backwards for most men. And what actually changes when you flip it. If you're the kind of man who wants direction, not just information, hit subscribe, and that's what this channel is all about. I really want to be clear about something before I go any further in this. I'm not talking about bypassing real trauma. It happens, and if you're carrying abuse, addiction, really deep loss, well, that work, it's real, and it's not optional. I'd never tell you to stop it. What I'm talking about is a little bit different. Somewhere along the way, heal before you live stopped being good advice for a season and became permission for an indefinite waiting room. It's a way to explain why you still haven't moved, and that ain't healing. That's hiding wearing healing's clothes. And here's what nobody tells you about waiting to feel ready. Let's talk about what not ready actually costs. Not in some dramatic hit rock bottom way either, quietly, slowly, the way most real damage happens. Picture the guy sitting in his driveway, the truck's off, but he's not going in quite just yet. His family's right there, 20 feet away on the other side of that door, and some part of him, well, it still doesn't feel like he's earned the right to walk in and be fully present with them. Well, not until he's figured himself out a little bit more, so he just sits there, just a few more minutes. He's done this before, and he'll do it again tomorrow. It's not a man in crisis, it's just a Tuesday, and that's exactly what makes it dangerous. You see, every year you spend waiting to feel whole enough to walk through that front door is a year, well, you don't get it back. And most of the men I talk to who've been in that holding pattern for years, well, they're not more healed than the guy who started building 5 years ago with his stuff still half sorted out. They're just further behind, still sitting in the driveway. So here's the flip and the truth underneath the lie. Purpose, it does not wait on the other side of healing. For most men, it's actually the other way around. Purpose is what drives the healing in the first place. Think about it practically for a quick second. A man with nothing to move towards has all the time in the world to sit and circle in his own wounds. But a man with somewhere to go, well, he runs into his stuff differently. He faces his temper because it's costing him with his team. He faces his fear because, well, it's standing between him and something he actually wants. He's not doing the work because he's scheduled an hour for it. He's doing the work, well, because it's in the way. Direction, it creates traction. And traction, well, it does something still never will. It moves you. And most of the real healing that I've ever seen in men's lives didn't happen while they were just sitting there waiting to be ready. It happened while they were building something and got confronted with exactly what needed to change. So if purpose actually comes first, what does that actually look like? Definitely not telling you to quit therapy and go build an empire tomorrow. It's not the message. Here's what it actually looks like. Instead of journaling about that conversation with your dad for the 4th week in a row, pick up the phone and have it. Instead of reading one more book on discipline, set the alarm tonight and then show up to the gym once this week. No more research required. And instead of thinking about the business idea for another month, send that one email that gets it started. And none of that replaces the inner work, it just runs alongside of it. And the difference is simple. Are you still processing or are you just circling? One thing you move toward this week, well, that's the whole ask. Direction and healing were never supposed to compete for the same slot. And one thing doesn't have to finish before the other's allowed to start. Let me just talk to you really straight here, man to man. You don't need to feel ready. Nobody does. Readiness, it's not something that shows up before you start. It's something that shows up after. It's a byproduct of moving, not the price of admission. I hate to break it to you, but you've been waiting for a green light that was never coming. Nobody's going to hand you permission. There's no finish line on healed enough where a door opens and says, now you're allowed to live. That door's been open. You've just been standing in the waiting room telling yourself it's still locked. You're not a man in recovery waiting for clearance to start his life. You're a man with somewhere to go, doing the work as you walk, not before you're allowed to take that first step. So here's what I want from you. Not a click, not a link, just this. Comment one direction, even a small one that you could move towards this week. I read each and every single one. Be strong, brother.